G'day guys, here we've got our customers FG or FGX NA, which we've done a conversion on. Most people know it as an NA plus turbo. So as you can see, we've kept the factory manifold there, which works pretty good. And the keen eyes will notice that we've used the Process West Stage 2 intercooler kit. So it's a good kit, works well, really good fitment, so hence why we've opted to use it. And minimal modifications required, so the boys just literally had to make a connecting pipe here, and that was pretty much it. And yeah, the turbo side of things, yeah, pretty much used the whole pipe. So you pretty much use 98% of the Process West kit, which is nice, makes it a bit more economical for the customer. And we've got our injectors, which we've got in there, 630 cc's. A lot of people say that those injectors are a direct fit, and to be honest with you, they're far from it. So if you're buying these from retailers who are saying they're a drop-in, yeah, you might want to check the fitment. We actually had to machine up some spacers that sit in the manifold as a packer to get the correct height, and yeah, a little bit of trickery there, but look, when you've got a lathe, it's pretty easy to do. So we might actually make them a kit on our online store later down the track. Using the Process West battery relocation kit, and then we're using the Artec cast manifold, which is we get those through Platinum Racing or PRP. Really good manifold, exceptionally good on the boost control. We're using that with the 50mm Turbo Smart wastegate, and on our baseline we've got a 5-pound spring in it, and we're seeing like 4.2 pound of boost. So super happy with that. It works absolutely brilliant. As far as boost control goes, we're using the GFB G-Forced electronic boost controller. That works really good too. Super happy with how that works. This is still an NA PCM, so we can't obviously run the boost control back through the factory PCM without doing a complete ECU change, which we're just not interested in. We want to keep the cost down, and the GFB boost controller is doing its job, and giving us a nice flat boost curve, and we can control the ramp on and ramp off, and it holds it over RPM and so on. So it's actually works really well. Even though I'm completely against aftermarket boost controls or controllers on the barras, in this case it actually does work well. So we'll continue using them in the future. Raceworks nappy there, and then there's our dump pipe there, which is all the fab work's done by Darren, our other mechanic. He's only just started getting into the fab work, and yeah, he's showing good results. He's doing a really good job, so super happy with his work, and looks pretty good. I reckon he's pretty happy too. So, and then we're using a factory 2.5 bar map sensor. This still does retain the ZF for the Chinese one, so the 6HP22, and unfortunately we don't have access to the calibration or the TCM, so we can't really do much with the trans. So we are quite torque limited as to how far we can go. I haven't broken one of these transmissions yet, so I can't exactly say how much power they will hold, but I do know that when you go from 173 kilowatts and 373 newton meters to 270 kilowatts, 541 newton meters, you need to be a little bit cautious of how much more torque you're going to throw on top of that trans. And if we can't get in there and adjust the trans pressures, there are other things we can do in the calibration which tells the TCM that it needs to apply more, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be enough to be able to keep the transmission alive. And if we get greedy and start pushing the power, then we are almost guaranteed to break the trans. So until that customer says, hey, I want you to keep pushing and find the limits of the trans, I don't know what the limits are yet. But I'm happy to leave it at that and keep the torque down as much as we can. Either way, we're talking a 100 kilowatt increase in power and a good substantial amount of torque. So this is good enough to get the customer going. It's a good upgrade. It's not super expensive to do. So, and there's our boost there, so you can see it over RPM. So we're trying to keep as much boost out of it off the bottom as it ramps on, and that's only to reduce the amount of torque the engine makes. And then once we're at a stable point of like 3,800 revs, then we kind of hold it the whole way. So that's 7 pound of boost. Not a lot in the grand scheme of things. These Borg Warners do like to be up around that 21, 22. But that's pretty much a list of what we put on it. So it's a genuine Borg Warner. S363, so it's a 63mm compressor wheel, and then we're using the 88 rear housing, Arctic turbo manifold, which has got the integrated wastegate, split pulse the whole way, so it's pretty good. Turbo Smart 50mm wastegate, GFB boost controller, the Bosch injectors, process rest stage 2 kit, and then we obviously upgrade the valve springs, and we do the fuel pump. Although I reckon the factory fuel pump would probably get away with it. At the end of the day, the customer's going to turn up later, so we might as well just future-proof it for that. This turbo is probably good for making upwards of around that 400 plus, 450, closer to 500 kilowatt mark if you want to lean on it. So really good package. We call it a stage 1 pack, and it works well. Like, it works good. But once again, we are being sympathetic to the transmission. We don't want to break it straight away. We want to give the customer every chance he has to get out there, enjoy it, and and enjoy the money that he's worked hard for. So the solution from here onwards is to pretty much do a 6HP26 conversion and then get a TCM in there that we can actually calibrate and so on. So the guys over at DSR are capable of building a 6HP22, but without mapping capabilities, it's kind of pointless building one. So, but yeah, that's our stage 1 package for the FGs. So yeah, super excited. Can't wait to give it back to the customer. He's going to be stoked with it. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Catch ya.